there's more room on that side, you guys. Right on this side.
Do you want us to sit down?
Yeah, you can sit down.
Excuse us. Hold on, don't start. President Two Bulls, I have a black cat. $2. We all in together. I'm scared. Yeah, you're good at talking. Yeah, by the mice? By the mices? Is that over here?
Have a seat.
Positive.
Have a seat here.
Student council from Pine Ridge School. Sweet grass down, please.
She's going to say a few words.
And the kids. Rick needs one?
Here, he's got one.
Has he got one?
Yes.
Hey, she took mine.
Tom's already here and he said we're going to color.
Are we ready? Good afternoon. My name is Theresa Two Bulls. I'm president of the Oglala Sioux Tribe, located on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. Today is a very important day. As the tribal president, I've called this a press conference on a very important issue, which is suicide, especially teen suicide. And we want to address this as leaders. I have on my left Ricky Graygrass, who's tribal representative from Wakpamni District, and the Sweetgrass Program, the youth student council from Pine Ridge. We have the Bear Program. I want to thank all of you for being here and to help us get the word out on how we can work together, come together, and address this issue and be there for the youth. Personally, I think that it's time now. In our culture, we say children are sacred. And instead of just saying that, I think we need action now. We need to start being there for them. We need to start listening to them. We need to start being parents and grandparents to them. We need to help them. After school, they need activities, they need jobs. There's a lot of need out there. And many times adults don't listen to them. We always think we know what's best for them. But with this change coming throughout the United States and within our tribe, it's time we listen to them. It's time that they tell us their needs and their concerns and how we can help them physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I'm really happy that everybody's here for this occasion, and I'm encouraging all of you to help us. We need to come together and help each other. We need to stop being territorial. We need to open our hearts and our minds and our arms to the youth. This is one of the reasons why I call this press conference, and I'm declaring a state of emergency.
President Two Bulls, on behalf of the youth and those that are working in suicide awareness, we have with us today a mother who buried her 14-year-old daughter 2 weeks ago. She's here in support of what you are going to do today with your proclamation. We have to the right of me students from Pine Ridge School. As we are here today, they are going to be going to the funeral of their classmate Joshua Kills-Enemy. As he made his way into the spirit world, they're burying him today. So we're here in efforts. You have the Bear program. Barney's here. Leo's here. Girl Mouse, Boy Mouse is here to declare that we have to do more work with our young people, and most importantly with families. We have to involve the families in what we do with our young people. So with that, we have a young lady here sitting to your right that would like to address you, President.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Richards. I'm a senior at Red Cloud High School, and I'm also a member of the Oglala Sioux tribe. And I'm also here to ask President Two Bulls to help us and prevent teen suicide and so please help us.
Thank you.
Before I read my proclamation, and I stated earlier, I am declaring this a state of emergency. We're asking not only the leaders, the legislators, but we're asking the schools, the parents, the communities, the districts, everybody to get involved, because this is a growing, I don't want to say problem. Our youth are not a problem, but a growing concern that we need to all address. And I do want our council person to also say a few words, because if it wasn't for him and his concern for the youth, this day wouldn't be happening.
I guess at this time, all the student councils here and the president and everybody else that's concerned with our concerns here on youth suicide. About 4 months ago, after the suicide in Shiloh, Pierce, and Kyle, at that time it took a lot out of me, looking at the problems with our youth, all the negativity that's going on amongst the reservation, and nothing going on, no economic development going on the reservation, and no activities for our youth. So this last one, I called President Two Bulls and told her, we need to step up as elected leaders today and find something to curb this concern of suicide that's going on. Our youth are crying and begging for attention, for love, and I think it's time now that as elected officials we step up to the plate and we listen to what our youth have to say, the concerns that they have. And many times as elected officials, it goes through one ear and out the other, and I'm making it a point to where I'm listening, and I want to help and be a part of the intervention, the prevention of suicide that's going on. And not only that, but teen pregnancy and alcoholism and drug abuse that's going on, and all these issues that are affecting our youth on the reservation. And so I'm working real hard with the other council representatives, with the president, and anybody else that would listen to me, I just spoke with U.S. Attorney Greg Peterman. He's concerned with Marla's Big Eagle from U.S. Attorney's office, in going out there, doing my part as a tribal representative to bring something to this reservation, to bring something positive for our youth. We lost a great program when Youth Opportunity was no longer here. We've seen the rise of all the gang violence and the teen pregnancy, the suicides, the graffiti, the tagging that's going on. So I'm here to be a part of this. And I addressed it 4 months ago, and finally today that we got President Two Bulls to really help us to address this, and the youth that are here, and the concerns that are coming in, the text that, and the phone calls we get. It's time to really make that our plans, our strategic plannings become action. So, thank you.
President Two Bulls, we have Sweetgrass Carol O'Rourke here to read to you some statistics that we think that you need to hear.
Good afternoon, everyone that is here. I appreciate your attendance here, and all the students who are here. I want to especially welcome Ms. Iva here and our council people. And President Two Bulls, I'm glad that this press conference has been called and that you're here, because you know our concerns and what's plaguing our youth here. And what we want to ask is that all tribal programs who are listening and that are on this reservation, that they get involved and help provide those youth services that they're funded for. And that we need to have a place for our children to go to on weekends and when there's downtime. And asking, and our Sweetgrass staff, we all want to be a part of the youth development here on the reservation, and we want to work close with you and your administration. We want to work with the bear characters and our students and our principals who are here. I want to especially thank Robert Cook, who's here. He's from the high school, Pine Ridge High School, and I know the schools are going to make a difference this year. And to address the bear characters who really play an important part of our whole planning on the strategic for suicide prevention. I've seen their performance, and it's touched my heart since then. All the skits that they do. So I want to thank the youth who take time out to do this. Thank you, bear characters. And I want to offer condolences to our families. And you know, we as the Oglala Sioux Tribe, and as you proclaim today as a state of emergency, we are going to reduce the rates of suicide. I do have some rates here from public safety, some numbers that are really overwhelming, and this is what we're going to put an end to. And I want to thank the Oglala Sioux Tribe Public Safety and also the Oglala Sioux Tribe Ambulance Service for providing this information. But there is just so overwhelming amount. As of 2009, from October 2008 to August of 2009, there was a total of 96 suicide either attempts or completions on our reservation, on the Oglala Sioux Tribe. And this is, you know, we can no longer have numbers like that. We need to be here, and we got to make sure our services are being provided in what we say we're going to do, and that's our part. The Sweetgrass staff, I really commend my staff, and if you know, they go out to the communities and they go to the schools and they work with counselors. The counselors got together this year and they came up with a crisis plan, and that was all on initiative from the Sweetgrass Project. And I want to thank my staff, and I want to recognize them at this time also, if I may. I have Eileen Janice, Casey Means, Lyle LeBeau Jr., Constance Ten Fingers, Billy Joe Buckman, Greenwall, and Richard Ironclad, and Elaine Martinez. And we all work together. You know, there's our purpose is to go out to the communities and to the schools and to provide such activities. And to enhance our activities is why we use the bear characters, because they know what youth experience. But we do have these stats here that are available, and I want to also bring attention to, this is a Oglala Sioux Tribal Suicide Youth Prevention Initiative, and this was funded through SAMHSA. And I want to also thank Lisa Dillon and Ann Eaglebull, who were part of the grant writers. And, this was funded as of fall of last year. It's a 3-year grant, but I believe that with the help and the collaboration of everybody, this is going to sustain itself. So it's going to be presence, but also in the hopes that, the reduction rate, we won't have to worry about it no more. We won't have no more of those suicide numbers to record. And so once again, I want to thank you, all the students, the bears. They performed last night after school, and we're going to see them throughout the whole end of the year, and they'll be performing again in the spring. I want to also bring attention to our youth conference we're having at the end of the year. December 28th through the 31st, the Oglala Sioux Tribe is going to host a youth leadership conference out to the Lakota Dome at the Prairie Winds Casino. So I would like to see everybody there also to support our youth. And it's going to be focused on the youth. We're going to strategize so we won't see numbers such as this that was given to us today. Thank you.
Based on the purpose of today, I am issuing an executive proclamation for the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. Whereas it has been acknowledged that suicide is a major problem on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. Whereas suicide is a leading factor concern of our youth on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. Whereas the Indian Health Service, Behavioral Health Department, the Department of Public Safety, and all OST tribal programs are mandated to provide to their fullest extent of their services to assist the OST Sweetgrass Project Suicide Prevention Initiative to address the state of emergency. Whereas the risk of suicide can be reduced through the support of cultural awareness, prevention, education throughout the schools, communities, and the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. Whereas all schools and youth centers within the boundaries of the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation shall develop and implement a plan of action which will state that all school gyms, recreation areas will be open and available on weekends and downtimes to the youth. Whereas the Oglala Lakota Nation may once again find the good road to help our future leaders want to live a good life, and we must pull together to give our youth hope. Whereas according to the OST Ambulance Service Report dated December 10, 2009, over the past month from November 1st, 2009 through November 30th, 2009, the Oglala Sioux Tribe Ambulance Service had responded to 17 calls for service involving suicide attempted or completed. From October 1st, 2008 through August 1st, 2009, the OST Ambulance Service has answered to a total of 96 attempted/completed suicide calls. Whereas according to the OST Department of Public Safety, suicide/threats for 2008, there were a total of 84 adults and 16 juveniles. And the current 2009, a total of 28 adults and 3 juveniles. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe President and membership from this day forward shall join forces together to help reduce the rate of suicide, ideations, attempts by proclaiming the state of emergency, as our children, youth, our Wakaja are our future, and we need to keep them safe. Now therefore, on this 10th day of December 2009, I, President Theresa Two Bulls, hereby proclaim an Oglala Sioux Tribal Suicide State of Emergency, and am asking all spiritual leaders, clergy, community leaders, student councils, parents, grandparents, tribal employees, peers, and counselors to join us in this effort. That is my proclamation I'm making today, and we are going to all work together in this effort, and like Carol O'Rourke stated, we're going to work hard towards where we will not have to address suicide attempts or completions, that there will be a better life out there for our youth, because we owe them that. We as leaders, we owe them that. And we want them to be aware and to know that we are listening to them and that we want to help them, but I also encourage the youth to step forward and speak up. If you need anybody to talk to, get a hold of any of us. All these tribal programs are here for you. The resources, the services are for our tribal membership, and you are part of our membership. You are a tribal member that we have to help you. So never feel unwanted. Never feel that you're not going to be listened to, because you are. So I want to thank everybody who came here today to support this effort, and I will expect your support as we continue on. And this is not going to be the end, it's going to begin the beginning, and it's going to be a good beginning, and we're going to have some good results at the end, where these youth, our future leaders, are going to step forward, and it's going to be their turn to start taking care of their membership. And so we want to give them a good life, we want to give them the encouragement, but most of all, we want to give them the love and the hope. A lot of these youth do not get a hug a day. They are never told that they're loved. And we need to turn that around as adults. And to even go a step further, we even need to tell the adults that we love them also. That's a very powerful word, love, that could turn a lot of things around. And we need to start practicing saying that word, and we need to start using it daily. There's nothing wrong for me looking at my representative and telling Rick that I love him. I love you, and I hope you have a good day, and I'm here for you. That's the message we need to give out to these youth on a daily basis. So I'm asking you, please join me in a state of emergency, and let's make a difference. Kalamaya.
President Two Bulls, in line with that, we have one of our youth that has prepared a special song. It's called the Sweetgrass Song.
This song comes from my relatives to the north, the Cree people. And whenever this program first started, when my mom first worked here, she was talking about getting a song for the Sweetgrass program. And about 2 weeks ago was talking to the workers at the jail. And I sang this song, and one of the workers sing the power of this song. And so it was out with the proclamation today. This song is going to be the Sweetgrass song for the Sweetgrass program. I'm going to sing it here. This song says, I don't have words in it, but it comes from the Cree people. And they believe when they sing this song, they light sweetgrass. The spirit of their loved ones comes back through that smoke. And the person, what happened after jail, whenever we sang this, the sweetgrass, at first it wouldn't light at all, or smoke. Whenever we start singing that song, it start glowing. The spirit just start smoking real good. It got real bright. And so the song is Sweetgrass song. I'm gonna light the sweetgrass in the smoke. It's gonna get all our minds together. It's gonna bless us. And it's going to get all our minds together so we can work together to stop the suicide on the reservation, to bring down these statistics. You are away, away. oh hey, oh hi, oh hey, oh hey, oh hey, oh hey. Doc, I'll see.
Is there any questions? Anybody have
Is
any
Barney
questions?
against suicide?
It's Barney. Are you against suicide, Barney? You mentioned the other ones.
When I mentioned the yellow ribbon, it's part of what our program uses, and you'll see a lot of yellow ribbon throughout the holiday seasons, especially through the tournament going on. We're going to ask all the the athletes and the coaches to wear them, because that's going to show their symbol and their sign of support of suicide prevention. And that I want to thank the volunteers also, because the volunteers will be providing the yellow ribbons for anyone who wants to wear a yellow ribbon. And the significance, it comes from the significance of the yellow ribbon and the sweetgrass is the answers to our youth are among us within our culture. And understanding the use of sweetgrass and prayer alone could save a youth. And by teaching them to acknowledge oneself and the world we are in through prayer. And that was given to the Sweetgrass program by Just Taking a Life from Standing Up. So just want to let all of you know that the yellow ribbon will be very visible, and we will continue to use it, because as part of our Sweetgrass project, the outreach coordinators go into the schools and they use a yellow ribbon, so that's the symbol for that, is suicide prevention.
Do you have any questions? I think I just want to add that when Rick brought this to my attention, we had a meeting last Friday, and we had a variety of people here. We had not only the tribal leaders, but we had law enforcement, we had a clergyman, we had IHS Behavioral Health, we had Health Administration, the Sweetgrass Project. We all sat in this room and we put our heads together and we all spoke and was open and honest and how we could come together and address this issue. We did come up with some plans, but the most important thing was education. Not only law enforcement, but tribal leaders and our tribal programs need education and to understand suicide. And that way, with this training, we could better help the youth and learn how to listen and learn what their needs are and what their concerns are and how we could address it. We also talked about safe houses. I know Lisa Dillon is really concerned about the holidays coming up and there's no safe houses for our youth, so we're trying to identify safe houses not only through our tribal programs and our chartered organizations. We're looking at activities, how we're going to come together and provide activities, because they need activities to feel comfortable, and I'm hoping that we will have some of our spiritual leaders and some of the adults there also to sit and visit with them and talk to them, and just have activities that are going to help them. But my concern and my issue that I said on our radio show the other day was that we as parents and grandparents, we need to step forward also, because this is not only the tribal government are these programs concerned, are the youth, it's also the tribal membership's concern. So we need to work together. So if there's any questions, does anybody else want something?
I was just wondering whether we could hear from the young people
Yes.
about what they think is
Yes.
the source of the problem, the cause of the problem amongst your peers.
I would think it's just being alone and not feeling loved from your family and friends.
I also think it is drug and alcohol abuse, and like, a lot of children feel unwanted and feel like they have nobody to turn to when there is sources out there which they don't know about.
And do they turn to their friends at all? I mean, do you have friends who talk to you about this and say they're contemplating it?
Sometimes, but we went to a training at our school that touches on how to talk to people with suicide that are having thoughts of suicide?
It's the yellow ribbon
Three
treatment.
months ago, we could say that they were alone, I mean, in their endeavors, you know. But now, since we've had the training and the yellow ribbon, and that these kids are, you hear the word bear, you know, that's mato. And they're all part of suicide awareness, and we go into communities, we go into birthday, wherever we're invited. And Delia is also a part of the program. And she's had some trials and tribulations in her life too. And so, you know, she's speaking from her heart. But to say now, you ask, what about your friends? I'll give you an example. We had a young lady who attempted a couple of weeks ago. We got the call like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was a text. She texted that she was going to do this. So what I did was I text other people, my friends in the Bear, and they text others because we had a telephone number, but that's all we had. So through that and their efforts of wanting this person to live, we found the young lady and we got to her in time. And I know what these kids are doing is hard. It's extremely hard because they're burying their friends. They're sending their friends into the spirit world. Her daughter touched a lot of people and it brought schools together in unity. Her death. So that they didn't compete against each other. Usually we compete against each other in sports. But her death brought them together in love and in life. So to answer, do they have friends? Now they do. That they text each other and ask, how are you? How are you doing today? At night I text them, how was your day today? I get all the texts back. I had a terrible day. Then I know who to target. Why? You know, maybe it's their parents. You see, we can do all these things, but if we have to send them back into the home, that's not healthy. We send them back into the homes whose parents are abusing alcohol and then turn around and abuse their child. You don't know what you're sending me back to. That's what one young man said the other day. I said, let me find out where I'm sending you. I'll come into your home. So I know it's very emotional for Delia because she's one of our Bear characters. And it's hard what they do because when they get through performing, there's not a dry eye in the house. But they have the QPR training, they have the yellow ribbon, and they're becoming stronger in their friendships with their ties. So they keep in touch by texting. They keep that tree, that Christmas tree. You call up here and it's going to trickle down. And that's how we do it. So I hope I answered some of your question.
And just listening to Tiny today, I think that needs to go a step further and for us to be available. For the youth to text us also, because we're resources and we can help and we can listen to. I have 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls, and I have 5 grandsons. And I'm really concerned. My oldest grandson goes to school at Pine Ridge and he's a senior. And I worry about him. And because of the peer pressure and a lot of other issues that go on in the youth's lives, and we even grew up that way. But it was never brought out. It was never brought out in the open, and it was just something that was accepted. But I think with the youth today, they are crying for help when they attempt or they succeed. And it's time we listen to that cry of help, and we do provide the help to them.
They are our most precious commodity. And we have a lot of resources. Ogallala Lakota College has a satellite office, a center in every district that could be the hub. And I know that the student services with Ogallala Lakota College, they're working on an action plan as well, so they could be more visible and do their part. Very quickly, last week when we got word that one of our students at Pine Ridge School hung himself, a couple of kids said, I didn't even know him, but yet they were devastated. They didn't know him because it's such a big school, but through their friends and watching their friends cry and to mourn his death, they knew all about him. because it was a young man who took his life. Didn't matter who he was. It was a fact that that could have been our next tribal chairman. That could have been our next councilman from Wakabamni. Could have been an instructor at Oglala Lakota College. Could have been our news reporter. And that's how precious life is to us. See, we're small. We are a small tribe. But we have so much in culture and so much spirit that we can't afford to let our young people lose their spirit. We gotta call that spirit back, and that's through our culture. We have to bring this spirituality back to our young people, and everybody has to do it. Everybody.
And with that, I put a call out on the radio show a couple of days ago, calling out all our spiritual leaders, our Sundance leaders, to come together and bring our Chanupas together and pray. We're spiritual people. Our life is sacred. Pagashila, you gave us a life. Sacred. When we talk about sacred and we look at our Wakanja, Wakanja is a sacred seed that the Creator planted and give us a blessing when a newborn is born. And they're nourished and they're loved and they're cared for and they grow up to be young people. And they go through that stages of life too. So I put a call out for all spiritual people to come together. Let's bring our Chanukos together. Let's pray. Let's ask the Creator for guidance, for a way to help our youth. Kaka Ishlekshi Tui Ate Ina Akashi Kanke Chie Misu. Why not you ha? Kabrina, Nabaka choose. Ugna Wokja was still as you bantash, Trechaklina, Ke Zania Ichagokte. We need to come together as families, grandparents and fathers and mothers, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, cousins, really come together now. It starts at home. The teaching starts at home. And if there's no teaching there, the sacred way, our children are going to be lost. And like I said before, the Wakanja is a sacred seed that is planted. And for myself, I do not want to see any more young children, committing suicide or attempting suicide. I've seen too many. And like Tiny stated, that they are future leaders of this tribe. And it really gets to me when that happens. And so again, spiritual leaders that are listening, myself and Melvin Youngberg, we're working on a date here soon to do a gathering, to put our minds together as spiritual people to look for guidance from the higher above to help us with the suicide that's going on the reservation.
With that, we thank you for coming and we have a meeting that's going to go on this afternoon to plan for the holiday, to identify safe homes for the kids for the downtime through the holidays. So if any of you out there have anybody you'd like to recommend, or you yourself want to open your homes, let us know. With that, we want to thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Good job, Barney.